Finance Advisory Committee meeting, August 18th, 2025, Monday, 2 p.m., Las Vegas City Chambers, 1700 North Grand Avenue. Roll call, please.
Alan Franken. Robert Witters.
Present.
Martinez.
Present.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda itself. Stand for a motion.
I move that we approve it as written.
Thank you. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none? It's been approved. Approval of minutes of June the 6th, 2025, July 28th, 2025.
Mr. Chair.
Mr.
I
Madrid,
would recommend that if you vote to approve the minutes, that it be done excluding the notation that absences were excused, and just remove that notation.
Mr. Chair, I recommend we approve the minutes as amended.
do a second.
A second.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none? Minutes have been approved. Do we have any public input, Mr. Madrid?
We have no public input, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to just thank staff, yourself and staff for being here and attentive and attendance and for the good jobs that you guys all do. Thank you. Discussion item number 1, July 2025 Finance Report discussion and action.
Mr. Chair, since it's July, we have a very fat budget and very little activity. And I normally go over the highlights or anomalies. Because of the large budget balances and little activity, I really have nothing to highlight for the month of July in any of the funds. But we do stand for questions.
Mr. Weeders.
Morris, I'm having trouble, let's start with the general fund. I'm having trouble reconciling what this report says is the budget for the general fund, and I'm assuming you're using 1/12 of the yearly budget for this monthly budget. And I can't reconcile it with the budget that I thought was approved by the council a while back. You know, this big, thick thing that we've been going through. For example, the finance report here that we haven't had says the budget for the general fund for the year of 2025-26 is 16+ million. And the document that we were working with says it's 20 million plus. How do I get from the budget document we've been working with to what's in this finance report?
If you're referring to the revenues,
Yeah, let's
Well,
just start with
I
revenue.
think that the difference may be in the transfers.
Okay. Yeah, that still doesn't track.
And we should probably address those differences specifically, sit down and do that.
All right, well,
'Cause I'm not sure what you're looking at.
the budget document that we had been working on showed that the revenue budget for the new year is 20,742 and a few more dollars. And this shows it as 16 million for the year.
I'm sure at least part of that is transfers because we collect administrative fees from the utilities that are not listed on here, that are listed on your document. So it's going to be the same type of revenue, not necessarily only that exception, but these revenues listed here are actual collections of external revenues.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay. Other budgets such as the enterprise fund and et cetera, they do match the budget documents that we've been looking at for over a month. One other thing on this. The intention, is this correct? The intention for the general fund is that we have a deficit budget. That the budget, we're looking at 16 mil income and we're looking at 28 mil expenditures. And that deficit budget that we have established for the new year, we're going to pay for that from the cash, the carry forward cash from prior years in the general fund. Is that correct?
Comparing raw revenues to raw expenditures, yes, expenditures are greater. The difference does come from cash reserves.
Okay. And how much is the cash reserve in the general fund that we started the year with?
You have to look that up on the budget.
Just over 8 million.
So we started the new fiscal year with 8 million. What's the actual number?
074,934.
Okay, thanks. I think that was my questions.
Thank you. Any other
Yeah,
questions?
thanks.
Mr. Madrid, so on the general fund pool cash, on the 15 million, is that gonna be staying there after all, or what's happening with that?
I'm sorry, could you?
On the general fund,
Oh,
on the cash pool?
okay. What was the question again, Mr. Chair?
Is that funding gonna stay there on both, on the Southwest and the Community First?
That's not a total yes or no, because we're right now in the process of moving cash from the general fund to the enterprise funds on a temporary basis. We're going to have to redeem some of the Senate Bill 6 money that we have in the state treasurers. Remember, I've been talking about the deficit that was going to be created by all the emergency water expenses. We have to pay the water fund back. So right now, Dominic already initiated a transfer from the general fund to the enterprise funds, and this is locally only to make sure that the enterprise funds have enough cash. We will be initiating a transfer from the state treasurer's office back to our general fund to replace that money. So I guess in general, yes, this will stay this way for now. The apparent sale of Southwest Capital has not gone through and probably will not go through. So we're going to have to rethink what our investments are going to be, and we haven't done that yet.
Okay. And on our local government investment pool, that one is at 117,
Yes,
$117 million.
yes.
And what percentage of that is the interest?
It's about 2.7 million so far, I think, or 3.7 million.
Yes, sir.
So on that, the investments, is the intention still to take the $5 million CDs that are there, that are maturing this month, and roll them into the state fund? Or what are the intentions when those
With
CDs
the-
mature?
With the, I guess, dissolution of Southwest Capital, that was the intention, and it's probably still going to be the most lucrative
Yeah.
thing to do. We just haven't pulled that trigger yet. The difference in earnings is about 2%.
Yeah.
So it seemed like that would make sense.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you.
So I'll open the floor for any motions to accept the 2025 finance report, July 25.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed and seeing none, it has been approved.
You have your audit report, Mr. Chair, or you need one?
I have it memorized.
I have an extra copy.
Nice.
Well, I did have letter B, presentation of a 2024 audit report, discussion and actions. Mr. Madrid?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, what I'd like to do is go through the high points of the report, explain them a little bit, what they mean, why they're there, from beginning to end. I have about 7 or 8 points. It won't take long. And then stand for any questions. These pages are numbered, so it's easy to refer to. The first one, on page 4, is the opinion letter. This is the most important part of the audit report. The opinion letter states whether the city's financial statements, as presented in the report, present fairly in all material respects the financial position and results of operations of the city. That it doesn't mean that they're exact. It doesn't mean that they audited every single transaction. They did the audit in compliance with generally accepted auditing standards and standards required by the state auditor's office, which are a little more strict in New Mexico than in most states. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in the disclosures and required compliance. The city received an unmodified opinion, used to be unqualified opinion. That is the highest opinion that you can get. It says that our financial statements represent fairly the position and the results of operation for the year ended June 30th of '24. So there are no qualifications, there's no disclaimers, there's no, the other ones are, they could say, a modified opinion saying it presents fairly the results of operations and financial position, except for example, our fixed assets. If we hadn't kept good track of our fixed assets and we were missing a $500,000 piece of equipment, that may be something that would qualify the financial statements. We don't have that. Another form of opinion is an adverse opinion, and the letter would say, do not present fairly, meaning you cannot rely on our balance sheet or our income statement, and they should be disregarded. The other type of opinion is a disclaimer, and that would mean that they could not even get enough information or perform adequate procedures to even give an opinion. And that would translate into, we can't tell what's going on. We're not even gonna try and give an opinion, not even a bad opinion. So of the four, we did receive the highest opinion. If you turn to page 7, that's the beginning of our financial statements. And I know you can review them in a lot more detail. The only thing that I want to talk about here is the difference between our financial reporting as required by DFA versus as required by generally accepted accounting principles. The main differences between the two is in our budget reporting through DFA, it's a cash basis. Under generally accepted accounting principles, it's full accrual. So when we report to DFA, we do not recognize payables and receivables like we do here. We do not include depreciation like we do here. So that is the main differences. We have disclosures in here that you will see where we have liabilities associated with the Public Employees Retirement Association that we don't even deal with here in the city in our budget or anything. We budget for those expenditures, but we do not recognize the general liability of the whole PERA fund. In our notes to financials and our disclosures, you'll see that. That's not part of our regular operations or reporting here. That's the main difference between our state reporting and our GAAP reporting. This is the only time that we do full GAAP reporting is for the audit. The next section, starting on page 30, is the notes to our financials. This is background information as to how we operate, the policies that we use, and excuse me, I'm getting a call from my boss. I'm just going to let him know we're in committee. Mr. Naya. I am right in the middle of our finance committee. Can I call you back?
Oh, yeah, no, we'll talk later, bye.
Okay, bye. Okay. And some of these policies are general. They would apply to every municipality in the state. What our depreciation is, detail on our deposits, on our receivables, on our transfers, what our capital assets are. They are mainly to support the main financial statements, balance sheet and income statement that you see right before that, prior to page 30. The next section on page 68 is the required disclosures. These are required by generally accepted auditing standards or the Office of the State Auditor. And the first one is a good example of a required disclosure that is not generally part of the city's operation, but is a required disclosure because it's the city's portion. So these are required disclosures that you will only see here in the audit report. You can read through those notes and why they're there and what they are. In this section, you see the combined and combining income statements, which you don't see in the regular section of the financial statements. The next section, which starts on around page 111, are the supporting schedules. And what you will see here are the numbers to support, numbers on the balance sheet for bank balances, pledged collateral, the detail on pledged collateral in the different banks that we have. You'll notice on page 114 and 15, because of the insurability by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, these balances are all under $250,000 to make sure that they're fully insured and collateralized. Also in the compliance section, well, right after the compliance section on page 116, you'll see the independent auditor's report on internal controls in accordance with government auditing standards. This is also a good report. This says that they did not find any deficiencies in our internal controls. You'll notice they use negative assurance. They don't say, your internal controls are great. They say, we didn't find anything to say that they are not great. And that's their way of saying, we didn't review every single transaction. We give limited assurance based on the audit procedures applied. But again, this is a good, positive report. Just like the next one, page 118. We have report on compliance for each major federal program. And again, they didn't find any issues that needed to be reported on internal controls. We were considered to be in compliance. The last section is a schedule of findings. I believe you're probably already familiar with most of them. The first one was for 3 procurement violations where the invoice was dated prior to a purchase requisition. These are purchases that are initiated from outside departments that were after the fact. The total dollar amount involved in the violations was $1,566. We did just have a training with all the department directors and their admin assistants to go over that requirement. This is something that is common and it usually occurs either they don't know or just disregard the policy. But no matter what the dollar amount is, this is one of the reporting requirements. If the auditor found a $2 finding, it has to be in the report. Doesn't matter whether it's material or not. That's why these are in here.
Is this a repeat
Yes,
finding?
I believe it is.
And that's not good.
No. The next one is internal controls over cash receipts. We lacked supporting documentation for cash receipting. The way that they test these is they find, I believe they start with a bank statement, pick a deposit for that day, and go backwards to trace that the deposit amount, and normally is a batch, is supported by the documents that make up that deposit. You may have $500 in cash, you may have 13 checks, 3 money orders, whatever. And make sure that the supporting documentation tied to that deposit is there. In this case, and I believe this was at our utility cashiering section, not all the documentation was there. They've had some turnover there. This is an area that's going to require some more training. These are things that there are controls in place. They're just not followed. The next one is an overpayment in our travel and per diem policy. There was one employee that traveled and was overpaid by $17. I believe that it was because of the time frame involved. The per diem, Management Per Diem Act provides for example, if I take a trip for a couple of days, the clock starts running when I leave and it stops when I get back. If it's exactly 48 hours, that's a certain amount. If it's 48 hours plus 6, that's another amount. If it's 48 hours plus 12, that's a certain amount. This one was paid improperly. It was an overpayment. Again, any any payment not in compliance with the Management Per Diem Act has to be reported. Even though it's only $17, it has to be in here. So that's another finding. The next one is an issue with the anti-donation clause. There was a director that was soliciting funds from the general public to attend an out-of-state training. That was considered to be fundraising for a personal benefit because it was not authorized, it was not within policy and not authorized by the department or the governing body or the manager. So this, again, as a violation of the anti-donation clause, has to be reported. I'm not sure what the dollar amount was here, but it really doesn't matter. It's not an appropriation of money.
What happened to that employee?
I'm not aware of any disciplinary action, and I probably wouldn't be if there was any.
Really? Okay.
Montoya, does the council have any kind of policy on?
Yeah, we have state law, and then there's a city code of ethics that we follow. This item was brought up at the time of the incident, and I guess really nothing, as far as I know, nothing was done about it. I don't know, I don't even know if the individual got approached or not or what, I don't know. But we got to remember that when this kind of things happen, we had, what, many, 6 findings?
Yes.
Yeah, we had 6 findings, and I've been here where you've had 18, 20 findings, 26 findings. 6 findings is a lot better than 28. But probably I'm going to say that probably half of the 6 findings were self-reported by members of the city of Las Vegas. And that's a good thing. But either way, we pay our auditors to review this stuff. They do sample testing. They get so many invoices and check them. They check so many reports, cash coming in, the whole works, and they go by the percentage of what's being done correctly and what has been done non-correctly or not following or not being in compliance. But yeah, no, there is policies towards this. The manager is looking into all that kind of stuff, yeah. The next finding will be the same. It was also falls under that category. And we do have policies in place, though.
Sure, you're right, this one, and actually the next 2, I believe, at least 3 of them, were self-reported. The next one was in regard to PERA contributions. And it said the city did not send a draft resolution to PERA prior to approving an increase in the city's picking up a higher percentage of employees' PERA contributions. That involved negotiations with the union. The negotiations resulted in the city agreeing to pay a higher portion of PERA as part of compensation. Increased compensation means they get a higher take-home pay. However, the city is required to get that approval from the PERA board first. We didn't do that. So that's the reason for the finding. This one has been corrected. The proper approvals were obtained back in October of 2024. So this one should not be repeated, but that's why. The city cannot agree to higher amount of contributions to PERA without their approval. The next finding was use of a contractor. During the Balloon Fiesta I believe in October of 2023, there was a private contractor that was traveling with city officials in a city vehicle, which is not only a violation of our policy, but creates a liability as far as insurability. We could be liable for anything that happened if there were a crash or anything related to that contractor. If you're not a qualified agent of the city, such as employee or elected official, we're not covered by the insurance. This is also self-reported, and this is also a required reporting in the findings. The last one is something we've discussed before. The audit was submitted late, and we had miscommunications between the city and the auditor. That has been resolved, and the level of communications is going to change between the auditor and the city. And just for information, the council did accept this audit and approve the renewal of the contract with Patillo, Brown and Hill for next year. So that's something that we'll be working with our auditors. I just texted the partner this afternoon so we can schedule an entrance conference and start scheduling field work. So we're going to start on this process a lot earlier. Last year, we didn't sign a contract until October. So now we've got things in place. The contract still needs to be approved by the state auditor. They did approve it last year as a multi-year agreement, so we shouldn't have any issues there. And that concludes what I believe to be our relevant portions of the audit. And you stand for any questions, Mr. Chair?
Morris, one of my favorite topics, how much cash you have in the bank. Page 111 shows that the city has 45,000.
25 million?
45 million, sorry. What's a few zeros between friends, right? 45 million between Community First and Southwest Capital. And then on the next page, there is you don't show any outstanding checks against, oh, these are other accounts. Okay, I get it. Right.
First of all, let me correct something. The 45 million is total current assets, not cash.
Okay. Wait a second. The title of this chart is Schedule of Cash and Investment Accounts.
Which statement are you looking at?
Pardon? I'm on page 111.
Oh, on 111, okay. I'm looking at the balance sheet on page 7. Okay.
So is that telling us that the city has 45 million in those two banks?
Yes.
And it's divided up the way the chart shows?
Yes.
Okay. And then what's on the next page, 112?
These are New Mexico Finance Authority accounts.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Oh, I see. Okay.
And just to reiterate, this is as of June 30th, 2024.
Right. And that's my last question. When did the big $100 million arrive?
In
After
September
this?
of 24.
So it's not on here?
No, it
Okay,
was subsequent to this.
I got it, okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir?
See?
So the interest wouldn't be on there either?
No, we hadn't started earning interest until our first interest was earned the last week of September of 24. It was about $100,000. We've been accumulating since around the 22nd, maybe, of September of 24.
Thank you, Mr. Madrid. You know, committee members, this budget audit report has already been approved by mayor and council at our last city council meeting. But it was important for us to bring it before this committee, for in case you guys had any direction or on the findings or questions on the findings or anything like that. We did get the presentation to us from our consultant. And we also went ahead and approved it for another years of service with them. So I want to thank staff, because one of the big items on the auditing is how our staff relates and works with our auditors. And they made it a point to tell us that the finance team really did an outstanding job of getting them information, working with them, and being cooperative and so forth. So that was good to hear from them. I think that out of an $80 million budget, I think that there was $1,734 in findings or fines that were mishandled, or that is a heck of a good percentage to have, I would say. That shows our community that, or anyone, that mayor and council and our finance team with our city managers have done a great job accounting for every penny the city of Las Vegas earns or brings in and spends. You know, it's good accountability. And I want to thank this committee, because you guys are all part of it. We got a couple of members missing today, but you all are part of it, that ask questions and that keep the city on tab and on checkpoint. And I appreciate that. A lot has been done, a lot of projects, a lot of money has been spent. Lodging tax, opioid fundings, general fund, grants, so forth, on and on. But overall, the citizens of Las Vegas are the ones that have benefited at the end of the day from us doing things the correct way. I mean, there's always going to be a little here and a little there that goes wrong, but this finance director and his team has done a lot of work towards trying to avoid those things from happening. We got to do a lot of more training for our directors as far as procurement and purchasing and that process, because we're still incurring some of that happening. You know, we need to follow the procedure for purchasing, period, and our procurement policies. But overall, I think it was an awesome audit. I think that we're doing the right things and we're moving in the right direction. So we thank you. Yes, sir.
And I'd like to second that, Morris. I think this is a pretty good audit report. And I think your team and your group has done a really good job here. There's always going to be some minor findings, and that's what I would characterize a lot of this that we saw there as pretty minor stuff. The one little caveat I would throw in there, though, is that I think, and I know you will be, worried about repeat findings. Repeat findings, even small ones, start to become a big problem, a bigger problem, let's put it that way. So, but I think overall, pretty good audit report. And I'm interested in the numbers that I see here too. So probably over the next few months, I'll salt in some questions based on my looking at, I'll be poring over your audit report, the numbers themselves.
Understood.
Ms. Francine, any comment?
Yeah, I'm just surprised that just those little receipts that they found in such a big operation, that's nothing. That really is. I mean, you guys are day-to-day operating with so many receipts. And for them to just find that little bit, that's not a lot at all.
Yeah,
That was,
and I think a few of these findings have to do with turnover.
Yeah.
We have
And
people
retraining.
changing and not trained properly, and you lose institutional knowledge,
Yeah, and when people retire and people have been here so long.
like you.
Yeah, that's going through now, yeah. I get calls, but that's okay.
With that, I'll ask for a motion to accept the presentation of the 2024 audit report.
I make a motion that we accept it.
Thank you.
And I'll second it.
Okay, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, seeing none, we move on to other items for discussion.
We have one item from the Finance Department in regard to that, Mr. Chair, and that's to announce that on August 13th, last Wednesday, we did receive information that the Department of Finance and Administration accepted and approved the budget submitted for the current fiscal year for FY26. And I'll tell you personally, I think that's pretty fast. It's normally at least a 3-week to a month to 6-week process. And we got notified within 2 weeks. That's pretty good.
Very good.
Any other items you guys want to discuss? No? Okay. I had an item or two and my mind just went blank. But either way. Next item is July 2025 AP check report. Mr. Merger?
And that's the one you always see. We just stand for any questions.
Or Dominic, whomever wants to answer the questions. You know, I know Bob has a few of them, but if I may,
Yes, I do.
on page 5 of 54.
Okay.
So on this broadcasting for the fiestas, it amounted to 44.52, and that was just for the 4th of July weekend. And that was vendor 02562.
Yes. Not necessarily. That may include advertising for the Fridays al fresco also.
Okay.
It may not all be fiestas.
And what's FDC stand for?
I don't know.
Is that the name of a group?
No, it would be SDC. Well, SDC is Sangre de Cristo Broadcasting. That's the name of the station. FDC, I'm not sure.
Like I don't know, radio station?
FDC. If you find out, you can give me a call.
They registered, that's their registered name of the vendor itself. So on their W-9, it should say that, right, Dominic?
Yeah.
It's not Fiesta Committee.
Yeah, because the Fiestas don't have a committee. I'm not sure what FTE stands for.
Or is that, I don't know. I was just curious because I never seen that. Okay, well, moving on to item numbers, page 7. You have payable crown for royal courts, the Reina crowns for 1,200 and the Princesa for 800. I guess that's something that the city is starting to do now, because I know Mr. Phil Ledger used to donate those crowns to the reinas. And my second question to that is, I mean, he used to allow them to keep him. Are we allowing them to keep him?
I don't think they had been allowing that in the past. This was to replace the crowns that had, I guess, gotten old and deteriorated, and
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if tarnished or some of the stones were falling out. This was to actually replace them this year.
Wow.
I have said,
On the, I'll get to you, Mr.
okay.
I guess on the bands, we all paid for the bands, no? Out of the general fund,
Not out of the general fund, they're paid from lodger's tax.
ledger's tax.
Yeah.
Okay, because they're all charged here and they're all different,
Yes,
yeah. But it all comes from the ledger's tax,
yes.
okay? And I just, I don't know how they do that, because some of them are 3,000, 2,000, 1,800, 1,500, you know, so I'm kind of curious and leery about how they're doing that. What's the process for that? But I'll find out in another way. Go ahead, Mr. Withers.
My first question is page 2. It says we bought out Xerox contracts for 60,000 plus. What happened there?
We didn't renew their contract. We went with another copy company, and this is, I guess, the equivalent of changing your cell phone service. There's a buyout clause that has to be done. So we had to pay this amount for the, I guess it was an early termination, and that's the amount that it cost.
Why did we terminate early? Because it cost the city 60 grand.
Well, I'm not sure what the issues with service were. That was a recommendation by our former IT manager. We have a DSI now.
Yeah, I noticed that they started having invoices.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Page 2 again, Robert Turner Ford, almost $30,000. Did we buy a vehicle?
Yes, we bought a few.
And what fund did that come out of?
That came from the money that we swept at mid-year, the general fund savings. We put it into that fund, and that's where that came from, general fund savings.
Okay, so who got the vehicle?
I'm not sure about this particular vehicle. There were some for community development, finance.
So that was all part of the
Executive.
rebudgeting at mid-year? Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right, that makes sense.
that was the money you told us to spend.
Yeah,
Did I say that?
you did. And you said it out loud, Morris. Page 3, GM Emulsion. It talks about sidewalk replacements, but it's charged to the police department funding. Is that the common practice here in the city?
If the department chooses, yes, the sidewalk was replaced, a portion at the police
Yeah.
department. They have the option to transfer money for buildings and grounds or maintenance or whatever within their budget.
Okay,
And that's where that came from.
all right.
You showed two different funds right in below that, where it came from, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're both within the PD's operating fund.
got it, okay. I have three more questions. My next one is page 12, 13, and 14. There's a bunch of Fiesta refunds for $250 each. What is that?
Every vendor that's gonna set up, they have to pay their vendor fee and deposit. And if for any reason, for example, they cause any damage, if they spill grease on the sidewalk that we have to clean up, then we keep their deposit and use that to clean it up. So
Okay.
all of these refunds happened almost at the same time.
Okay, all right. I didn't realize that we had that process. There's page 28, there's Henry Shine, and it's a past due invoice. What's the story behind that? $15,274. Page 28,
I see at 15,000.
yeah.
I can't answer that right now, but give us a second.
Supplies, EMS?
EMS supplies, that looks like
But
stuff
the
for the fire
question-
department?
The question I have is why was the invoice past due?
The real answer is because the fire department lost their administrative assistant a couple of months back and have been kind of disorganized in all their administrative stuff for a while. And this was probably one that sat on somebody's desk until the vendor called and said, give me my money.
Thank you. All right, last question, page 29, Mosaic Animal. It's $8,000, almost $500. And it had to do with a cruelty case? What's the story?
Well, I'm not sure the details, but this was an animal that was taken for emergency care. And I believe that this was only one animal. And
And
the
the
city
city's,
does not have a policy in regard to how much money are we gonna spend on an animal. All this was spent on one animal to treat it and save it. And because I don't think that we have a formal policy regarding euthanization or are we gonna cap treatment at $2,000 or anything like that? So this one is definitely an anomaly and something that should be looked at in determining a policy.
okay, who's gonna do that?
I don't know if it even is gonna be done, that would be my recommendation. This was particularly the director's call in Animal Shelter Services.
Okay. All right,
Is that a dog, a cat?
It's a dog.
A dog?
interesting. Okay. I'll leave that for,
I'll discuss that with the chief
yeah,
and see where we go with it.
Or
okay.
can we make an agreement with the vet to say, can we just say, can you just charge us $2,000?
That's my last one.
What's your price tag?
What's my price tag?
Yeah. How much have we spent to save you?
Oh, me? Now that's different. But I don't want animal control to take over saving me.
Yeah. Animals best, what is it called? Human's best friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thing? Any other
That's
questions? Okay. Motion to approve, AP check report for 2025 July.
I move that we approve it.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, seeing none. We move forward. Mr. Madrid, do you have anything else?
Nothing else, Mr. Chair?
Okay. Well, 2:57. Next item, next meeting will be on September 15th, 2025, 2 PM, same place, City Chambers. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Good.
Good meeting, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Morris, are you fully staffed?